All right, welcome everyone to our very first lesson of Chapter 1, Foundations for Algebra for Skills in Exponential Algebra. This is really going to be our first chapter of kind of dipping in our toes and reviewing skills that we have been gaining for a while in other algebra classes. And we are going to be learning very familiar topics, so a lot of this might be old news for some people, but we might be learning some new things as well. All right, so as we flip off of the cover, 1-1, what we're going to be looking at today, we're going to be looking at order of operations and evaluating expressions. So if you would please, at the top of your page, write today's objective, today's goal. Today what we're going to be doing is we're going to use the order of operations to evaluate expressions. So that should hopefully sound familiar. A real quick review of just some terms and phrases we're going to hear throughout today's lesson and probably this chapter, and actually throughout probably this entire year. We have this word called evaluate. We're going to see a lot come up today in this chapter and probably for the next several years of your math life. In the word evaluate, we kind of see we have that word value. So what that means is we're going to be finding, it's help us to find value. Okay, so what that really means is we're going to be finding a number answer. Okay. Our next word that we have is the word expressions. You're going to hear this a lot throughout exponential algebra. And what that is, it's a fancy way to say equation or math problem. Okay. So if I say evaluate this expression, what I really mean is, hey, we have this math problem and we're going to find a value. We're going to find a number. All right. Now, a quick reminder, if ever I'm making these videos and I'm going too fast, reminder, you can pause, you can slow it down, you can rewind, you can watch something over again. All right, the next thing we're going to be talking about is the word simplify. Again, we're going to hear this a ton throughout Chapter 1. So to simplify, that means we're going to write an equation in the easiest form. We want to make it as small, as simplified as we possibly can. Okay. All right, so we're going to jump into our main topic of today. We're going to talk about order of operations. Now, a lot of us are like, Bayles, we've heard this before. That's perfectly fine. Order of operations, we're going to use it a ton throughout the year. It's probably our biggest stepping stone of everything that we do in exponential algebra. As you can see, we kind of have this interesting looking box thing. This kind of shows us what order of operations do. A lot of us know the phrase PEMDAS. If I say that, what that means is the order in which we do things. We always start with P, which is our parentheses. Now, we're in math class, so I don't really want to write parentheses. You guys are going to find out very quickly I'm a terrible speller. So I'm instead going to use symbols. So we have parentheses and also use brackets. Those also mean parentheses. Okay. Next, in order of operations, we use exponents. So again, I don't want to write exponents. Reminder, exponents is you have a number or a letter, and it's this number up here, that is our exponent. Okay. Now those two for sure, they are what we need to do first. Those are our first two steps. Now these two are next to each other, next to multiplication and division. As we know, those can go, those are our next steps, but sometimes you might do a division before multiplication. We'll talk more about that later. I'm just going to use, we have several forms we show multiplication. We have the times sign. We won't use that a lot now that we're in 9th grade algebra because sometimes that will look like an X. We'll use this dot a lot. And then remember, sometimes they use parentheses to show multiplication. So if you have like a number on the outside and then parentheses and another number, what that really means is multiplication. We also use division, which we have the division sign. And sometimes they'll use a bar. And what that is called, that's called the fraction bar. And we'll see that several times today. That also means division. Okay. And our last two then in our order of operations would be addition and subtraction. Again, they're next to each other because sometimes we're going to do subtraction before addition. And these are kind of boring. We just got a plus and we got a minus. Okay? All right. That looks good. We are going to flip pages. All right, so to just get in depth a little bit more with this, as I said, there's kind of some key parts of this. So we know order of operations, that P comes first, the parentheses comes first. So you're always going to perform any operations inside the grouping symbols first, such as parentheses and brackets. That's always what comes first. A fraction bar also acts as a grouping symbol, and I'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to one of those problems. Okay. We're going to simplify our powers, aka our exponents. This is what I was talking about with those boxes, multiplying and dividing next to each other. We do this like we're reading a book. So we're going to multiply and divide from left to right. That's how we read. We read left to right. That's the same way we're going to be doing math when we have multiplication and division. Next, we do our addition and subtraction. Again, we do this from left to right, like we're reading a book. Okay. All right, let's get into this. Let's do some PEMDAS. Let's do some order of operations. All right, so if you want, you can certainly write PEMDAS at the top of your page. It's up to you. Also, if you want to grab a calculator for this, that's perfectly fine. I know this is our first lesson, and some of us need to wipe those cobwebs from our math brains. All right, so as we can see here, I'm reading this left to right. I see I have no parentheses. I see I have no exponents. So I'm going to jump down to the fact that I have a multiplication there. I see I have a multiplication and an addition sign. We know order of operations. I have to do that multiplication first. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be multiplying this 3 and this 5. Now, some of you are like, this one's very easy. I'm going to write this answer down right away. I'm going to tell you how I'm going to grade this. I'm going to grade this on the fact that we're doing order of operations. I need to see that you are doing all the correct steps. So I need to see every step because that's what I'm really grading you on in this section and in this chapter. Okay. So the very first thing is I'm going to do that 3 times 5, which we know is 15. So now this 2, we didn't do anything with that. We did do anything with that plus sign. So 3 times 5, that gives us 15. All what we have left now is that 2 plus 15, which is going to give us 17. I like to circle my answer saying, yeah, you got it. That's it. Okay? All right, you guys are going to start noticing throughout math, we are going to start out easy and we are going to get trickier. Okay? So this next one I see, if I'm reading this left to right, I see I have a parenthesis, so I know I need to do that first. So inside that parentheses, we have 6 minus 2, which we know is 4. Now notice I'm going to keep this in the parentheses because we have this exponent on the outside, and I'm going to leave that there. Okay. Feel free, you can grab your calculator, you can certainly plug this in. If you know how to plug this into your calculator as taking it as 4 to the third, some of you might know how to do exponents like that on your calculator. If not the end of the world. We do know 4 to the third is really 4 times 4 times 4. So you could certainly plug that into your calculator as well. So if I took 4 times 4 times 4, what we are going to get is 64. Now we still have that divide by 2, so again, that's our last step. So again, you can plug that into your calculator. We're going to take 64 divided by 2, which we know is going to be 32. So as you can see, we got a little bit trickier. We added some more rules in. Okay. Here we go, our next one. So this is what I was talking about. We have this fraction bar, and I said we need to group things. So what I mean by that is we're going to almost put parentheses around this top part saying, hey, I got to figure out the top first before I use that fraction bar. So what I really need you to do is you need to have just one number on top, one number on bottom, and then you'll divide them. Because reminder, that fraction bar really means that we are dividing. All right. So as you can see on top, inside that parentheses now, we have an exponent and a subtraction. So we know we have to do that exponent first. Okay. So again, you can take your calculator. You can certainly do that exponent of 2 to the 4th. Or reminder, 2 to the 4th means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So when we plug that into our calculator, what we're going to get on top there, and I'm going to keep it in parentheses, we're going to have 16 minus 1, and we still have that 5 chilling on the bottom. Okay? And then as I said, we want to figure out that top, so we have 16 minus 1, which we know it's 12. I'm going to take that out of the parentheses because we don't really have anything else going on in there besides 15. So now we have 15 over 5, aka 15 divided by 5, which is going to give us 3. Okay. I put another one of these on there just because I know these get a little bit tricky. So as I can see, I have a fraction part. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put parentheses saying, hey, all of this is together and all of this is together. So again, what I want to do is I want to figure out what is on top. I see I have a multiplication and I see I have an addition sign. So I know I need to multiply first. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply that 2 times 7 to give us 14. So on top, and I'm going to keep it in parentheses since we have multiple things still up in the top, I'm going to take 14 and we still have that plus 4. On bottom, let's not get crazy. Let's just do like one step at a time. I'm going to leave it like that. Okay. So now on top, we have 14 plus 4. So we know 14 plus 4, that's going to give us 18. And you know what? Let's get crazy. Let's do the bottom as well. So we know 9 divided by 3 is going to give us 3. Okay. So now that I have a number on top and a number on bottom, we are now able to divide. So I have 18 divided by 3, which is going to give us 6. And there we go. All right, so that was order of operations. So I'm going to, I have some prompts that I want you to try. So right now, if you were watching this video at home, I would love it if you pause it, if you tried it, and then click it back on once you're done to see if you are correct. Okay, so if you are at home right now, pause it, try the problems, and then click play, and then we will go through these. All right, so here we go. I'm assuming you listened to me and you paused and you tried them, and now we're going to work them out together because you all totally listen to me all the time. All right, so as you can see here, we have a lot of rules. So we are going to go left to right. I have no parentheses, but I do see I have an exponent, so I know I need to do that first. So a reminder, 4 to the second, you could certainly plug it in. You could take 4 to the second on your calculator, or also a reminder what it means. It means 4 times 4. If any of you tell me 8, I'm crying on your paper. Thank you. All right. So 4 to the second really means 4 times 4, and 4 times 4 is 16. So here we go. We didn't do anything with this stuff. We got to leave it. I've got minus 16, and I have divided by 2. Okay. Now, a reminder, so right now, as we see, we have a multiplication, we have a subtraction, we have a division. But a reminder, we go left to right. So I see I have this multiplication over here, so I'm going to do that one first. So I'm going to go 5 times 7, which is going to give us 35. So I have 35 minus 16 divided by 2. Again, I'm reading this left to right. I have a subtraction. I have a division. I have to do that division first. So I have 16 divided by 2, which is going to give us 8. So now I have 35 minus 8. Feel free to plug this into your calculator. 35 minus 8. That is going to give us a grand total of 27. Again, please notice I'm showing every step. I'm showing that I'm going left to right. Do not do multiple steps. When we do multiple steps, that's where we make silly mistakes and we make calculation errors. This stuff should be the stuff that we're really burning into our brains, that we know how to do the proper steps and we're not skipping ahead. All right, this last one here, we're going to take 25 divided by 5 since we have a division before we do a subtraction. And so we know 25 divided by 5 is going to give us 5. I had 12 minus 5, and that will give us 7. All right. Again, if I went too fast, reminder, you can pause things, you can rewatch things. Sometimes I talk very quickly. All right. The next thing we're talking about, we are in algebra, so I'm going to throw variables at you, aka I'm going to throw some letters. So again, notice that we have our 2 vocab words that are coming back. We have the word evaluate, so we're going to find value, and we have the word expression. So when we have problems like this, it doesn't mean we're going to solve for x or y. It means they gave us the values, and we are going to plug them in, and then we're going to solve them using our order of operation, using PEMDAS. Okay? So our very first step is I'm going to replace all the x's and y's with 5's and 2's. So I'm going to replace this 5, or this x with a 5. I'm going to replace this x with a 5, and then this y with a 2. Okay. All right, so from here we are going to be using order of operations. Okay. So noticing that we do have parentheses. I like to throw those in when we have exponents. And so we're going to do those exponents with those parentheses first. So we have 5 to the second. So again, you can plug that in, or just reminder, it's really 5 times 5. So we know 5 times 5 is 25. Okay? We're ignoring this one. We're ignoring the 12. Now I'm going to let you guys do this in the same step. We know 2 to the second is really 2 times 2, so I'm going to have 4. Now again, I'm going to read this left to right. We have an addition, we have a subtraction, so that means we have to do that division next. So I'm going to have 12 divided by 4, which is 3. Now notice I have that 25, I have that 5, but notice that minus sign that was in front of there, so we still need that. So now we have 3. Because 12 divided by 4 is 3. Now, what we have is I have an addition and subtraction. We're going to go left to right. So I have 25 plus 5. That will give us 30. And we have 30 minus 3, which will give us 27. Okay. I know that was a lot, but it's taking what we just did and just having that first initial step of plugging things in. This next one, not so crazy. We're going to replace that x and that y. So what I'm going to have is I'm going to have 5. And now reminder, when letters are snuggled up together, remember what that really means is they're being multiplied. I'm going to use a dot just because we are in algebra and that's what we should be using. So now we have 5 times 2 and we have that little exponent there. All right, so as you can see here, we have parentheses and we have stuff in it. So I had to do that stuff first. So inside there, I have 5 times 2, which is 100. No, it's not. I'm thinking of the next step, guys. Sorry. I have 5 times 2, which is 10. We have that 2 still chilling out there, so we're going to take 10 to the second. A reminder, what that really means is 10 times 10. And we know 10 times 10 is 100. Okay? Again, if you wrote 20 to me, I am crying on your paper. Okay? So 10 times 10 is 100. All right, so again, I have some problems that I would like you to try. Again, I would like you to pause the video, try them out, and then push play and see how you did. Okay? You should always be trying some problems on your own. You should never just always be following me. That's not how we learn. All right, here we go. Our last 2 problems. I again assume you listen, you push pause, you're pushing play. All right, so our last 2 problems here. So again, now we have letters. We're going to plug stuff in. I'm going to replace that B with a 4. Replacing that A with a 3. As you can see here, yes, we have parentheses, but there's nothing going on inside them. So what I see here is I have an exponent. So that's the very first thing we're going to do. I'm going to take 3 to the second. Reminder again, that means 3 times 3, which we know is 9. This stuff we haven't done anything quite yet, so I'm going to have minus 9. Our next step now, I have a multiplication, I have a subtraction, so I'm going to do that multiplication first. I have 3 times 4, which is 12, and then I have that minus 9, and we know 12 minus 9 is going to give us 3. All right, our very last problem, we're almost done. All right, so again, I'm going to replace the A and the B with their numbers, so that B is really replaced with a 4, and the A is really being replaced with a 3. Again, as you can see here, I have parentheses, but there's nothing inside those parentheses. So the next thing I see is I have an exponent, so I have that 4 to the second. Again, 4 to the second really means 4 times 4, so 4 times 4 we know is 16. We have that 2 chilling out in front there, so I have 2 times 16, and this stuff is still at the end. All right, we're going to get crazy. We're going to do both these multiplications at the same time. I think you guys are ready. So I have 2 times 16, that's going to give us 32. We have 7 times 3, which is 21. Also notice, though, I have that subtraction between there, so I have 21. And then our last step is I'm going to subtract those. We have 32 minus 21, which is going to give us 11. All right, so this is going to be something new maybe for some of you. After you get done with every single lesson, I want you to reflect on what we just did. For some people, that might have been a review. For some people, that might have been completely new. Or for some people, they're going to say, yeah, I kind of remember it, but this was a good refresher. So the very first thing I want you to do is look at what we were supposed to do today. Today, we were supposed to use order of operations to evaluate expressions. I want you to write a couple things to me. This could be something about you always should do parentheses first. It might be something about the rule about adding, subtracting. I want you to write down a couple things to yourself and to me about what was something maybe you learned today. Maybe there's something you relearned today. Maybe there was something that you're still confused about. So I want you to write down something that happened new in this lesson for you, or something maybe you're still learning and you're maybe still confused about. If you need more time, feel free. You can pause this video. And the very last thing that I want you to do is I want you to rate yourself. Okay? Think about what we were supposed to do today. Today we were supposed to learn about order of operations. So if you are a person who's at the 0 level, you are a person even with assistance, you would be able to do order of operations. So if I was sitting next to you and I was helping you through every single problem, you would not feel comfortable doing this. You would rate yourself at a 1 if you felt, I can start the problem of this order of operations, but I can't finish them. Maybe you know the first couple steps, but you don't know the last few steps. You'd rate yourself at a 2 if you feel you can complete the problems with maybe a little assistance. Maybe you'd raise your hand and say, Bayles, how do I do this one part here? Okay. You would rate yourself at a 3 if you could complete the problems on your own. You could go through your homework, finish the problems. You got this. Now, level 4. Now, I would understand if maybe we weren't quite at a level 4. We're back to school. Level 4 is where you could take order of operations and you could teach someone else. Maybe there's someone in class and you're like, I can teach this person. Now, for some of you who are like, I don't want to appear that I'm an idiot, I want to look smart to everybody, or maybe you're like, I don't want to look too smart. This is for you. This is for you to know where you are at. This is also to help you with what do you need help at the end of the chapter when we're taking the test. So really think about where you want to scale yourself. If you're at a 2, that's perfectly fine. We know we have to work on things then. If you're at a 0, you are someone who's maybe we should do more work together before after school or other times. Okay? So really be honest with yourself. This is where you are scaling yourself. Now, I know this video was really long. This was our first one. I won't go into as depth as I did this first one in our other videos. All right, thank you.